Japan Sports Cards Collecting here. And I've got a little bit of a longer video today. I'm going to talk about why I got into soccer card collecting and some goals, some strategies I have for 2022 to continue being active in the hobby and in enjoying it still quite a lot. So there are many things I'd like to talk about. One of the things is why I got so involved in soccer card collecting. And what I found out was by collecting soccer cards, I was able to expand more of my knowledge about the current players and legends in the soccer world. I didn't watch soccer growing up very much. I only watched World Cup when it came around, and I didn't really have a particular team that I followed. I only knew the big stars like David Beckham. He was the big one that everybody had heard of. Of course, I knew Pele. Only the players that transcended out of the soccer world into the general knowledge of people and things. And so I know some people said, well, to understand prospects and to understand who's in the soccer game, you have to watch soccer itself. And I do watch a fair amount now. Although I can tell you, living in Japan, it's difficult with the time differences of watching any of the English games, or it's very sometimes beneficial to wake up in the morning at 6 a.m. and I can watch the second half of the Champions League games. But again, that's not an ideal time to watch any of the games at all. So I watch soccer, and I've gotten to know a lot more of the players and the teams and everything through collecting soccer cards. There's a lot of content out there that talk about upcoming prospects. It gives you YouTube clips to watch. It gives you players to pay attention to. And so I'm careful that I watch all those, and it's really expanded my knowledge. And so that's kind of the second thing that's really beneficial with knowing soccer is if you travel internationally, and especially if you come across language barriers. You're sitting at the bar and you want to have a conversation with the person you're sitting next to, but you don't really have a common language, or you don't really know like what they may be interested in. Soccer is a great way to talk. You just say, hey, what team do you follow? The players' names are the same no matter what language you speak. I had a huge conversation with the other couple weeks ago in the bar. I was sitting by a Japanese guy, and I was noticing he was watching highlights on his phone. And I said, oh, who do you like? And he ended up liking AC Milan. So we were trading AC Milan players. We were really talking a lot about current and past legends and having a good time with it. And he told me he played Futista, but as you know, here in the Futista game with the cards and things, when you go to the Sega arcade, you could play. It's stopping, and it might have even stopped here at the end of the year. I think it's when it was going to stop, and he quit playing. And as we were talking, I was telling him I really wanted Phil Foden's rookie WCCF card, and he said, "Oh." Well, I thought he was saying, oh, I have it, and I'll leave it here at the bar for you next time so you can get it. So I went there, I don't know, 2 weeks later, and I went to the bar, and the bartender said, oh, that guy you were talking to, he left a whole bag of cards for you. And I expected one card, but he pulled out, he gave me all of his WCCF cards, a big old box like this. You know, most of the cards aren't really ones that I collect. These are the newer Futista cards that you play with the game. You can see they're skinnier, and they're a little bit longer, the older cards. I mean, there's a ton of the older cards in here too. You can see they're just like this. But he gave me all of his cards, and I just thought that was so amazing and so nice, and we wouldn't have been able to have this connection, and we wouldn't have been able to have a talk or shared interests without me knowing soccer players. Like I wouldn't have known Maldini or any of these players before, or I couldn't have talked about Joao Felix and anything like that. So it was really good to kind of have these conversations with him. So it's really kind of enabled me to get to know people and have things of conversations where to talk to. Okay. And one of my big suggestions you have as far as collecting and getting into soccer and knowing more of the players is really get a team that you follow. When I lived in Amsterdam, I became a big follower of Ajax. Now, it really helped that they had really good teams, really good young players. and they were making run there in the Champions League. And I was able to go to some games, and I really enjoyed, just really enjoyed getting to know Ajax, and that became my team. So I started concentrating and buying all the cards. So that enabled me to get to know the up-and-coming players that play for Ajax, and it gave me some goals to kind of collect with. So I really started to just buy whatever the Ajax cards coming up I see that have really good patches or anything else. And, you can usually get them for not very much money. So it was really nice to see. And I really like it because you'll see later I also really collect the American team. When I can combine interests like Sergiño Dest when he was at Ajax, and then also being an up-and-coming American player. So, and then I said, okay, I really like my favorite rookie that I'm collecting right now is Antony. And so I started buying Antony rookie cards. And I don't buy base cards. That's one thing is I really stay away from base. And another thing that I've quit doing is I don't buy any wax, unopened wax. I love it. It's fun to open, but it's really expensive. Just like the recent Road to Qatar cards that came out from Don Russ. They're equivalent about $420 for a box. And most of the time, I never get that lucky with getting the autographs. I don't open it up and I don't get a Messi autograph, or I don't get a Pele autograph or a Maradona autograph. I always get autographs from like Jordan Henderson. Well, a good player, but not somebody that I collect or would want to spend $420 for. So I ended up just buying singles. And I really, really like it when I can combine. So you can see this is like the regular Topps Chrome Champions League that came out this year. And so this is, I don't even know, the yellow out of $2.99. But you can see the mosaic patterns are different here on the Japanese cards that came out. And I love it that you can look on the back and it's all the Japanese writing and things. And, I can combine then getting cool things in Japan with my interests in soccer cards as well. So that's what I said. Get a team you like and learn about those players, and it will open your mind to other top players are out there, because there's always going to be a transfer window of where they may go, who your team might sign. And so, get a team that you follow. I would also suggest getting a player that you really like, because then it gives you a focus. Sometimes I collect Tyler Adams. I decide I'm going to try to get, whenever I see any colored or numbered parallels come up from him, and they're at a reasonable price, I pick them up. And that's an important part I want to say too, is stay within your budget. I think the police are coming to arrest me filming these videos because all I hear is sirens outside. But stay within your budget. Know how much you'll spend, and always just stay below that. I found cards come up again. It's been rare that I think to myself, oh, I wish I would have just spent that extra $10 or $20 to pick up that card, because I've noticed that they come up again. In the short term, I always have short-term regrets, but in the long term, I've seen the cards or similar ones come up again. I'm saying, oh, I didn't know I'll get that card. And it's usually cards that I realize, oh, I should have spent $300 on that card. I realized later I really didn't have the money to do it. And I would kick myself because I stay within a budget. That budget, I used to say, okay, $10 a card. There's no reason to spend more than $10 a card. And then I found myself spending more and more and more. And then I said, oh, I need to scale it back down, because it's ridiculous. Because 6 months ago, if I was spending $50 on a card, I would have kicked myself. So by collecting one player, it really leaves yourself open to, like, when you find deals come up. Like I found this patch auto of Tyler Adams in this year's, is this Bundesliga Museum collection, or I think it's the Champions League, and it's out at 25 and some, beautiful little patch and everything else. And so, and I was able to pick this up for about $20 as I throw it across the room, which made me really happy. And then you find when you collect, like I said, it gives you a focus. It gives you a reason, or you get so many rookies. There's so many prospects that you could just be spending money everywhere. If you've got a couple teams to focus on, then you go ahead and you focus. And and again, I want to share with you my favorite pickup from 2021. And it's a simple thing. I'm not going to show you like a Messi patch auto or something like that. But, I picked up the Anthony Robinson. What are they called? These are the troy ounce silver cards that were in Immaculate, I believe. And, this is a rookie out of 29, but such a cool card, so thick, such an interesting card. And I watched this card go down. It was equivalent of $100. I spent a yen, so I tried to equate everything back into dollars. It was 100 yen. Then went down to 80 yen. No one bought it. 60 yen. No one bought it. 50 yen. No one bought it. Got down to 30 yen. I snapped on it. And I was like, I picked that up, and I'm so happy I did. They're just so interesting cards to get. I also keep my mind open for, I really like the on-card autos. I know everybody does, but whenever I find any USA player on-card autos, I just pick them up. Again, within my budget. If it's out of my budget, I say I'll leave it, and then I'll maybe get it the next time. Okay? Another thing about the hobby, 2 more things I would like to say, and then I will see if... I don't like this push that everyone has that everything needs to be graded. Get grade. And then, oh, you don't like to grade, snap it out, break it out, send your BGSs into PSA, send your SGCs into PSA, break it, do this. It's so much plastic waste. And, for me, I'm not that good at looking at my cards. So, like, I buy them sometimes. I'm sure this person that sent in this is Zenon. It costs about $30 here to have a card graded, and it came back, a PSA 5. And so I was able to pick this up for about $18, which is cheap. The person lost money because they probably paid for it, and then they had to pay to have it graded. And then I find I can set up my cards here to like have where I can then store them, where I can see them like this. But unless I have them on card stands around with my favorite card ever, 54, right? 54 Ernie Banks rookie. I bought this when I was still, it's probably got the old PSA slab, but that's when I was like pushing. I think I spent like $240 for it back in the day, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm spending that much money for a card. But unless I display them like that, I put these in like a box. I never really look at them. And whereas when I've got cards like this, they're easily stored. I can take them out. I flip through them. I really like looking at them. And that's what I do. I enjoy it. I don't really feel the need to get everything graded. And I know people say, well, what if you sell it? I've bought, I'm going to say at this point, thousands of soccer cards. I've never sold a single one. And I should. I would possibly if I went to card shows and stuff, but just online and things and not knowing Japanese so well, especially kanji, it's really hard for me to sell things. So I don't mind buying as long as I'm in the budget. For me, it's like, I can go have a beer or I can buy a soccer card, and so I look at it as pure as entertainment. I can go see a movie or I can buy a soccer card, so that's the kind of the way I approach it like that. And one of the other things I want to say is just like stick with what you know. For a while, I was like, I know I'm going to get into basketball cards. Michael Porter Jr., tons of hype. He's still lower than people say. It's going to boom, boom, boom. I'm going to look into my basketball cards and buy some basketball cards. Well, he may never play again. And I'm sure, I didn't even spend this, was probably more out of my budget than I wanted to. I think I only spent like $40. But still, it's $40 I'd much rather spend some other place. And so kind of stick with what you know and what you really like. Just don't invest in something because people say, hey, that's where you should put your money. I don't like looking at my computer. I don't want to get NFTs. I don't want to see a picture of something. I waste enough time on the computer. I don't want my stuff where I go, oh, you want to see my cards? Oh, let me turn on my computer. Oh, look, isn't this so cool? No, you can't hold it in your hands. So and I've always been like that. If I can't hold it in my hands, I'm not much of a collector. It's the same with music. I don't have a ton of music on my, on digitally, and I don't listen to Spotify and things much. I have records. And so that's what I listen to. I like to hold it in my hand. I like to see it. I don't mind spending the money for it. And so, that's what I've got. Okay. So then just kind of quickly, the things that I wanted to know is, one last thing is just be positive in the hobby. It's an enjoyment. It is a hobby. Yeah. Unless you're going like investing, but I don't, maybe people get angry, crazy when they're like, oh, my stocks are down. I can't believe I bought into this and this and this. enjoy the hobby and be positive. There's so many, and I think sometimes I've gotten into it too, where I've been a little bit more negative than I should have been online about somebody. Especially, I was watching a lot of content about openers and they're opening soccer boxes. They don't know how any of the names. They don't know any teams. They don't know any names. They don't have any idea about the difference between Champions League or country leagues or country teams. They're like, well, why doesn't Christian Pulisic play for Germany if they're a better team, and things like that. And so, I let little snide comments and things, but it's just people, the more people that are in the hobby, the more overall enjoyment of getting the better I think it'll be. So just be positive. There's really no reason to be negative and be all uptight in the hobby. And so, enjoy yourself. I definitely do. I love mine sitting around. I keep my cards here in the living room so that when I'm sitting around, I'm bored at night, I can say, oh yeah, let me look over my Ajax autos to check them out again. Okay. So that's all I got. I wish you a very wonderful 2022 and a great time collecting the hobby. And I really appreciate you watching. Okay. See you later.